Welcome to the Virtual Goods Dealer interview series hosted at pages.virtualgoodsdealer.com. This is Ada Rong, producer and editor of this episode. Today's interview is hosted by Omnia and Cindy, who some of you may know as SAQ memes and Mails Are Cancelled. Our guest today is an artist, a podcaster, and a poet based in Bloomington, Indiana. He's best known for his Instagram meme page at @PreMiles, where he gracefully and accurately pokes fun at language, normativity, and pop culture. We spoke with Miles about the uncanny performance of vulnerability used throughout his posts and debated with him over the evolving definition of cringe.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here in the booth.
We're really happy to have you. So I guess, it's nearly impossible to describe the work that you do. So I guess the best way to explain it is to show it. So I'm going to send what to me was the most pre-Miles posts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, before we get into specifics, is it safe to say that you might be the master of memes?
I wouldn't describe myself as such. I don't even think memes can be mastered. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty low on the totem pole. And that said, I'm not sure any one person can really be on the hierarchy per se, but so to answer your question, I don't know if it's safe to say that I'm the master of memes.
Yes, that was a really good answer. You answered better than Elon Musk, so that's good.
I mean, you're higher
Good.
on
I
the
hope
totem pole.
Than Elon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty bad at memes. If you can be good or bad at memes, I think he's horrible at it.
His answer was surprisingly humble. So yeah, somebody asked him this, like I think it was a fan or a reporter. I hope it's not a reporter, but yeah, maybe it was a fan. And they were just like, "So is it safe to say that you're the master of memes?" And he was just like, "I mean, my tweets used to be pretty racy, so I guess that's that. Also, I have some pretty sick meme dealers." So I think he handled it really well as you can handle a question like that.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad he has some humility, I guess.
All right, I'm looking at these memes. I'm gonna just read them out.
Please do.
All right, number 1. Basketball is poetry.
Do you have a problem? Did someone upset you?
Me?
Yes.
No. I
need an explanation for what inspired the second one, because basically, who is this versus?
The second one in the middle, I see it's just an optical illusion and says "whoa," right? I don't really know if there's. I think I just thought it was trippy. I think I wanted to just share some optical illusions, get the feed kind of. I wanted to shake up the feed, activate some third eyes, I guess, and just get the conversation going. I do remember when I posted that, someone got really mad and said that I should be crediting the whatever artist made those optical illusions.
Okay. That's not really my problem with it. I saw people got really angry at the basketball one. So I get why you targeted them.
One.
I get why you targeted them. Like, yeah. Sports people are kind of...
Wait, why were people mad about the basketball one? Like, what could you even be mad about?
Okay, because I guess I see why they got mad. It's because when you're scrolling down the feed and you see a pre-Miles post, no matter what the post is, it's something that you should hate yourself if you don't hate it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I know what you mean.
Like, I am
'Cause I
super
feel-
interested in optical illusions. I have like 3 different folders, and I started making my own ones, and I was like, what did I do?
Okay. So to that point, a lot of the stuff I post, I think, is not all of it, but a lot of it is things that I genuinely like, but I might be embarrassed for whatever reason to genuinely like because I'm like aware of the cultural perception or something. So to the next one, the Jabberwockies, I think I used to love that show, America's Next Best Dance Crew or whatever.
Me
Like I
too.
used to sit there, yeah, I used to sit there and watch it, and it blew my mind. That said, there's something like that feels a little bit corny about it all, or maybe like I feel like other people would think it's corny.
So it's coming from,
Or maybe,
it's you, like it's self-deprecating, and then
yeah,
you can do it very safely, by the way. You should feel really safe to do that because nobody will know that this is something you actually like.
right, yeah, and so I do feel like a lot of my posts are me working through things I actually like, but yeah, through the lens of self-deprecation, I guess. I definitely, I wouldn't say I post things to get people mad at me, and especially not like in the past few years. Maybe when I was a little younger, I like to stir the pot. But so yeah, and to that end, I guess like with my comment section, I don't always know exactly what angle people are coming at me with because I don't know. They just try to match my tone or something. But yeah, maybe every once in a while, I am really upsetting people. I'm not sure.
Personally, from my point of view, it's like I've been following you for like years now, and I feel like I think you have a really genuine tone. Like I feel like seeing your post is one of the things that made me feel more comfortable just sharing the things that I like. Like I remember you have like posts about like the kind of apples you like, for example, and I was like, that is so true. Like no one's talking about this.
See, and I don't know, maybe I've seen different posts from you, but the way I
Mhm.
see it is we've already said everything that needs to be said about apples. So, um,
Then why are they still called red delicious apples when no one thinks they're delicious?
Yeah,
that
I
was good.
really stand by that statement. Red delicious apples are the worst. But
Yeah, they're
yeah, that's
really.
the stuff that's what I like talking about, I guess. It's just everyday stuff. Um I don't know why. I mean, I think part of it, I guess, is like when you're like trying to post funny stuff, you want to like find your corner, I guess. And I thought maybe just talking about apples could or whatever could be my corner. Um, and then maybe I think I've just kind of really settled in to my own corner, for better or for worse. And you all have been posting on Instagram for a while, and I'm sure you've seen how things. I feel like we're kind of in the same circle, like wider circle of Instagram pages, and well, for one thing, I never talk about this stuff usually, but anyway, I'm sure you guys have seen how things have changed over the years,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, and so for a while, like I was inspired by some of the trends, I guess, but then I got tired of it and wanted to find my own lane. And yeah, I guess here I am.
You talked about when you were describing where you're coming from with the memes earlier, you were talking about how there's just something off about it. And you're right. There's just like a hint of the uncanny that is
Mhm.
super consistent in all your work. And so when you say you found your corner, absolutely you did. And it's so hard for people to pull off that uncanny consistently when you're aware that that's what they're trying to do. Like when it becomes like sentient, then the audio, I don't know, it feels like I'm being sold something, but with you, with your work, it's I've never felt that way, and it's like I accept it. I know I was giving you a hard time, but like I'm a huge fan.
Thanks. That's a really good observation. Yeah, I do try to hone in on like language that we take for granted or that seems like really normal, I guess, in society, and just try to reflect it, because I think a lot of the language that is used to communicate on the internet isn't like organic or meaningful or natural, and I think putting a mirror to it makes it funny. At least it's funny to me.
It's hilarious, and I'm glad you brought up the whole language thing, because I want to talk about your comment section. It's so amusing to see people say things exactly the way you would say it. So okay, I'm gonna pull up a couple of examples here.
All right, I'm gonna read these comments out. So we got this picture, this image of are these like famous people in the picture? I'm sorry, I'm not good with recognizing faces.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's
I guess one of them is the Star Wars guy, and then I don't know who the middle guy is, and then one of them is the guy from Air Force One.
right. Yeah, it's the Star Wars guy. Well, they're all Star Wars guys in a way, but it's George Lucas on the right, Steven Spielberg in the middle, and Harrison Ford on the end.
All right, let me read these comments. So Pre-Mile said, "Let the comments fly." 100 likes. These real men have class, not swag. Just dudes making flicks and having fun. The big three, love him or hate him. That's
My favorite one.
sunglasses emoji, video emoji. Would love to pick their brains, even if just for a few minutes. No one did it quite like these guys. These three bring the ruckus. Spielberg helped Lucas make Star Wars. Lucas helped with Indiana Jones. Their prize, the awesomeness that is Harrison Ford. Wow.
15 likes too many for that one.
Yeah, it's funny to see everything out of context or in this new context like that. Puts it into perspective.
Also,
Yeah,
okay, let me bring up another example, because all of these I like. All of these I feel like are pre-miles. But I'm going to bring up another example of ones that just kind of went a little bit too far.
Wait, just for some context on these, are these like, is this kind of like a contest setup that you're running for the comments, or are people just leaving these for fun, or are you like offering them some sort of like incentive?
Yeah, there is no real incentive. It's just people commenting, yeah, like you said, commenting for fun. I don't know what motivates people to try to up each other, I guess, like this, but there's something going on. Um Anya, what do you think is too far about these Mazzy start or these next comments?
I don't know if it's left or right. The left column I thought was too much. The right column was perfect.
Okay. Yeah, I agree that sometimes people go a little I think there's a subtlety to a good comment, and I think some people like to go too in random. But that, I mean, hey, you gotta throw the spaghetti on the fridge and see what sticks.
Yeah, and I mean, the only reason why I even bring it up is because that corny element, it's really easy to cross.
Yeah.
Like, to where it's endearing. And then like when, true indie, deep cut, only real music heads will get this one. Like, I feel like they're not really doing the role playing correctly.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I think like doing the music stuff is kind of playing with fire, because a lot of the like early memes, I guess, was inspired by were the music ones. And I don't know, I think that genre kind of lost its luster for me for whatever reason. So yeah, I think the music heads thing does kind of cross the line.
Like, oh yeah, people are, people have a superiority complex about what music they listen to. We already know that.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just thought like a lot of people like that song, and I thought just posting that song would honestly, like, I do post to see what comments people will say. That is kind of my like motivation most of the time.
So you were
Um,
making fun of the optical illusion people.
well, no, not at that point. Not at that point. Because I feel like that I posted that like a few years ago.
I'm just kidding.
I feel like
You got me.
the optical illusions post is so genuine to me because it's like I see that image and the first thing that I think is whoa. So I'm like, this is just a very honest reflection of the human condition.
I disagree because you have to think of who is posting it and what else do they post.
I think Miles is a very nice gentleman who will never have anything negative to say.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah, that's
necessarily negative, but it's we're assigning the cringe on things that really have no reason to be assigned that label.
That is so
sure.
true.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, I think maybe I was kind of low key making fun of optical illusions,
That's all I wanted
but
to hear.
again, okay, you got me. I'll say it. But I really do think optical illusions are cool. I think you know what? I think I was invoking a voice there. I was trying to do like a stoner thing, which is like
Mm-hmm.
again, that's another part of me, I guess, that I like to make fun of. But yeah, I think I don't know. It seems like the more I post, the more a character develops or the character changes. I don't know. I mean, not to get too pretentious, but since I'm looking at a screen of things I said, I'll talk about it, I guess. Yeah, I just think it's kind of developed over time and the comment section has developed over time. It's not a comment contest, but I do invite participation from the quote unquote community because it amuses me and I think it amuses other people too.
I guess I feel like what you kind of do is you kind of toe the line of what's cringe. Like you're right there where you make the people who look at your page question like, is this cringe or not? And sometimes it's about calling something cringe directly, and sometimes it makes people think about how it could be cringe to criticize something that's over criticized, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. I think people should back off some of the like targets that have been overly criticized. I don't know if I'm trying to invoke self-reflection or anything, but yeah, what is or isn't cringe is an interesting thing to think about because and I kind of think cringe the meaning of cringe has changed over time.
It's become, I think, less endearing over
What do you
time.
mean by that? Like the concept is less endearing or what is or isn't cringe or like cringe things are less endearing?
The way it's presented uh, on the timeline, basically. It's like, okay, so sometimes people pretend to be quirky,
Yeah.
and that's super easy to tell nowadays, I feel like.
Yeah, especially because, in the last year or so of COVID, I guess, of social distancing, if you're, able to social distance or if you have to social distance, or it feels like our entire lives have been lived online. And so, yeah, I think that the discourse over what is or isn't cringe or what isn't good or anything has changed so fast over the past year. But
Like it's
it
become
seems like
cringe
more
to
and
call something cringe.
yes, yes, precisely. It seems like saying something cringe is just like a synonym for saying it sucks anymore, for better or for worse.
True.
That's so true. It's like I'll post a fire meme and someone will just comment cringe because they disagree.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that's not what it meant before. You're just being a hater. I don't know.
It's just
And
become
the thing
another word for
about
bad. Yeah, true.
yeah, but I feel like the original definition of like, or I don't know if it's the original definition, but for a while it's like if someone posted like something overly sincere, people called it cringe, and it's like, well, they're just being their self basically, and but that isn't to say that it isn't cringe to be yourself on the internet for some reason. I think I think I think when people say something is cringe, they're like actually kind of jealous. Like, oh, that person isn't like isn't burdened by all this doubt and like anxiety about how they're perceived and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
they
like
want
I'm
people to
straight
be
up
miserable.
yeah, like I'm jealous of people who post cringe. That's why I like post irony cringe because like I don't know. I guess I wish I could just not worry what other people think.
Sometimes it's because it
But
makes you face your own fears too. Like that question that are you the master of memes? I can see myself if I'm,
Mhm.
you know, meeting somebody famous that I care about, uh, that I could ask something even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it does make me confront my fears and that's good, right? To like be put into a situation that makes you uncomfortable. That's the only way you can grow.
Yeah, I'm definitely pro
So
cringe, by the way. I've always been.
good. I think I'll say I'm pro cringe too. Firmly. Finally, I've come around to cringe.
I feel like everyone has at least one interest that is like somewhat cringy, and that's why everyone has to call each other cringe so that because they're insecure about that like one kind of uncool interest they have.
Yeah, totally. All the cool interests that they have are like in danger of becoming cringe at any moment for any reason because
So
like
true.
Cringe is like whatever is popular is cringe because you're not a real person anymore. You're just part of the sheep.
exactly like it's tough to get into something right at the moment where it's like relevant without being cringe. I mean, I
Yeah, I
feel
don't
like
get the
all
whole
my
thing of the whole like, oh, I knew the band before they were famous. I guess I do feel that a little bit with Coldplay. Uh, but I mean, I'm happy for them. I'm glad that they became famous and now they just make music to make money. That's fine. I don't see the problem.
yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like maybe I've had that mentality for a long time, but there is something nice about feeling like well, everyone just wants to feel like they're a part of some special club, I guess. But
True.
yeah, I don't know. It's like getting older is just adjusting to changes, basically. So,
I actually had one more question before we get to the last question, and it
okay.
kind of vibes with this. We talked earlier about assigning things as cringe. So like think of the word scene and the word community. What's the difference between the two?
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's a really interesting question.
So one thing uh, I realize is that they're both cringe equally, but for
Mhm,
completely opposite
mhm.
reasons.
Oh.
Wait, I'm gonna need you to explain why either of them are cringe.
I don't believe that they're cringe, but when you hear people talking about the scene, well, how do you feel? Or when people say that, I don't know if we talked about it, but I thought it was kind of unstated, but how the meme community, we want to get away from that. So like we've made the word community and the word scene undesirable. And I don't know if that's going to make it harder for us as a species to like organize and communicate.
I think to jump in, I think even though the meme community is called a community, I don't think that is a community. I would consider that a scene. I see community as something like more like emotionally and like materially authentic, you know? Like I've been in
For me, it has
been in a
been
few
personally. For me personally, it has been. But I understand y'all's experiences are different.
Oh, word. Yeah, yeah, that's great. I mean, I guess I've been in a few scenes and I've been in a few communities, I guess, and sometimes it overlaps and sometimes it doesn't.
So a scene is just everybody's more independent, and it's not so there's no reciprocity.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to characterize it. I guess like in a scene there's a little bit of competition and
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's the same for an authentic community.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, like that Fallout Boy song, it's like, "This ain't a scene, it's a goddamn arms race." That's, like, my understanding of a scene is that it's about getting to the top, and it's like, in a scene, people pretend to be friends so that because it's like, temporarily, if we pretend to be friends, we can help each other get to the top, but as soon as, like, it's no longer desirable to work together, like, you'll start seeing tension, whereas, like, communities seem to be focused on, like, actually helping each other.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Man, I
Agree,
would
yeah.
never have thought Fallout Boy lyrics would be relevant in this stage of my life, but man, you nailed it there.
Are you hating on Fallout Boy?
Well, just like anything else that I hate on Fallout Boy. That and not to be like a first album guy, but like that first album with the blue cover, good. It's awesome. I don't know.
I agree. Also, to go off the question about a scene versus a community, like specifically to what we used to refer to as the meme community or the meme scene, like a recent change that's happened in the past 2 years or so is the rise of repost pages. And now I guess I
Mm.
feel like a lot of the
True.
really popular pages now that everyone's talking about are just repost pages. And I mean, not to hate on them because that's also a very difficult thing to do and to grow as, but I do think that it requires kind of a lower level of creativity and, like, artistry to pull off well. Someone's gonna hate on me for saying this, but it's like, you don't have to make the memes, bottom line is. But those pages, because they don't actually have to make their own content, they're able to get this unlimited flow of funny memes to post, and they grow really fast, and I think that's definitely kind of done a little bit damage to the ability for, original OC creators like all of us. I guess what are your thoughts on that?
Big time. Yeah, that's a really good observation, Cindy. There's a part of me that thinks it's like a generational thing. And this probably isn't true, but I feel like the way millennials or this is just my observation and it's, feel free to disagree. I feel like the way that millennials use the internet is very like identity focused, whereas the way Gen Z uses the internet is very I know we just said the difference between community and scene, but it feels more like, I guess it's like I would say Gen Z is like a characterize it. It's like if you run like a K-pop stan account, then
That's
you're a
me.
part of like that's you. Yeah, then it's like you're a part of like
I
this
didn't know that.
bigger picture than yourself. But anyway, but just to like actually disagree with what I just said, a lot of the like repost pages that I'm thinking of are probably like people my own age and stuff. But and to go back to an earlier point, I feel like there's been a shift in the culture of crediting people on Instagram. Like I feel like somehow now it's like looked down on to like ask for credit and stuff, whereas a few years ago it was pretty much like like courtesy to make sure everything's credited properly. I kind of like being just a part of the like I don't know. I kind of like the idea of just making something and then it becomes something bigger than myself, I guess. But I also like, that it can really get away from you too.
I feel that. Like recently I had the first time this happened, like I used the create option on the Instagram story and just wrote my thoughts down. It was something extremely stupid, but people reposted it as a screenshot of just the text. And there
Hmm.
was no credit or anything, but that made me feel like, oh, like they thought this was funny.
Oh, it's definitely nice to see your stuff being reposted for sure. That's why I didn't care before. I felt like it was my privilege to have my work shared. But now it's like if you're a big repost page, you should at the very least tag the person whose image you're using.
Right. I I I think probably some of them get so many submissions that like as a page, it's probably hard to manage the credit, but you know, people give credit where it's due for sure.
And I mean, I don't think I've ever cared if it's like smaller pages, but if it's like a page that gets a lot of engagement in like the first 30 minutes of a post, I get in my feelings, I guess, and I have a
Sunny
right
side
to.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, big time. Spread out that Bloomberg money.
Oh, that's a whole thing for another day.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely agree that the dynamics of who's posting your stuff is important to consider because I don't want to like send people to harass some like teenager who has like 300 followers or something. Like,
Should we take a look at the image you just sent?
Yeah, so that's how I wanted to kind of close today's interview, is
mhm.
to talk about your submission page. These are my 3 favorite images that people submitted to you.
I like that tree one. I totally forgot about that one.
It's
Yeah,
To be
I
honest,
like.
it's better than anything you've ever made. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I totally agree. I wish I came up with that. That
So simple
yeah.
and brilliant. I love it.
It's kind of similar to the optical illusions post.
True, but I don't have a special thing for trees, so that's why.
I mean, if I saw that tree, I would say, "Wow!" Like
Exactly.
it sums it all up. Yeah, I think I don't know when thought I would start a submission page. I guess. Oh, I guess like I think. I mean, this sounds like weird to admit, but I think I just wasn't feeling very inspired, and I knew that I had so many people in the comments who were like kind of matching my tone, and I just thought that like uh, my followers would have some funny stuff to post. So I just said, hey, pre-miles contest post, like make a post that seems like a pre-miles post. And then I got so many submissions that I decided I would just start a side page.
What is it
And I
called?
guess I update it every once in a while. It's called post pre-miles. So, it's like posting pre-miles, but also after pre-miles, because it's more than just me, I guess.
Oh,
It's like the whole.
post and pre. Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I so that's fun. People post some really good ones. It does I don't it's although I didn't expect to put myself in the position of being like a gatekeeper, I guess, but I do kind of gatekeep. uh Sometimes people post ones that just don't really hit right, so I don't accept those, I
It's
guess, but
important to be gatekeepers in something like this. This is something that you created. So no, I think that like if you feel it, that means it's good.
Yeah, I don't think
word.
that's gatekeeping. It's just like curation.
Some
Yeah,
people like they are really good at it. That's why with the repost pages, some of them actually like deserve to have a large following.
that's a better spin on it to say it's to address it as curation. And yeah, I think there are really good repost pages. I mean, there's also like just repost pages where it's like, okay, you can tell this person is trying to get in on the fad. But I don't know. It's whatever. It's all for fun in the end.
I think this kind of ties back to what you said at the very beginning, about finding your own niche with memes, because it's definitely true that there are trends and fads and everything eventually becomes cringe, but when you find your own niche and your own style where it feels like a authentic extension of yourself, then it then I think all of those things don't matter anymore because you're creating value that exists like outside of social trends. And I think that's why people love leaving these comments so much on your page where they pretend to talk like you and they like making these memes in your style as well, because the very essence of like doing this thing where you try to speak in a way that's very straightforward, very authentic, and kind of different from how people normally talk on the internet, it's therapeutic for other people to do too. It's like you've developed this system that feels good for people. I think that's really cool.
I agree, Cindy, and I mean, I guess that's how you've stayed consistent like that. So, just be you, stay you.
Thanks. That was. I really appreciate those comments. That was really nice to hear.
Of course, yeah, we were. This was a really fun talk.
Miles, do you have anything else that you're working on that you'd like to promote or plug?
Sure. Thanks. Yeah. So I will plug my podcast. I do a podcast with my friend Alex. It's called It's a Beautiful Day in the Gulch. It's just a chit chat show where we just kind of shoot the shit. But you can check that out on wherever podcasts are heard.
Are y'all still doing the Patreon?
Yeah, we do have a Patreon for the podcast. So if you really just can't get enough, you can check out the Patreon at patreon.com/gulchpod. But yeah, we post 2 free episodes every month and 2 on Patreon.
Thank you so much. This was great.
Good. Thanks for having me on.
We love speaking with Miles, and we thank him for being so open with us about his work and his process. The posts we talked about in this episode can be found on his Instagram page at @premiles. His podcast, A Beautiful Day in the Gulch with Miles and Alex, is also available wherever you get your podcasts. This was episode 2 of the Virtual Goods Dealer interview series. Thanks for tuning in.